Kitco Mining special coverage of BMO's 33rd Global Metals, Mining and Critical Minerals Conference is brought to you by First Majestic Silver.
Finding scale and continuity of gold mineralization was one of Snowline Gold's top 2023 accomplishments. I am with CEO Scott Berdahl. He is also a Mining CEO of the Year nominee here at Kitco. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you, Michael.
Take us through the top accomplishments of the exploration program last year.
Sure. Well, I think that we ultimately transformed our valley discovery. And as you mentioned, it has scale, it has continuity, and it has grade. And we demonstrated the presence of a mineral system, a gold system with all those characteristics near surface in a beautiful location for mining. And so, it really night and day from, if you look at our drill results from 2022 to what we've fleshed out in 2023, and it's still growing as we step out and test open edges of that system. And more broadly, we've established the presence of a district. Looking at the valley discovery, it's in a broader geological feature called the Rogue Plutonic Complex. And so you have about 60 by 30 kilometers of alteration associated with these little intrusions and some larger ones that are very similar to valley in their geology and geochemistry and gold anomalism. And so we found some really compelling targets on a regional scale that suggest that valley may not be alone out there. And then finally, we built on our commitment to the Yukon and to the environment and to operating with integrity out there. And we were very happy to receive the Leckie Award for 2023, which is awarded by the Yukon government for environmental sustainability in our exploration.
A couple of pieces that I want to pick on first, but let's talk about size and scale. You say that's a district scale. Why is that important?
Well, I mean, it's almost like a cliche and overused term. I think that if you ask any, 10 companies what district scale is, you'll probably get 10 different definitions and all of them will fall into it. But I think that in our case, it's quite genuine. We have over 3,000 square kilometers staked, and a lot of that is contiguous in this very underexplored region in the eastern Yukon. And the importance of district scale is really that organic growth potential. We've shown with the discovery of Valley that these rocks have the potential to produce exceptionally interesting mineral systems, gold systems. And so it stands to reason that the ingredients necessary are present over a larger area. And so having that ground secured really gives a lot of upside, not just in terms of, how big can we make the valley discovery through step outs and further exploration, but, can we find more of them?
The other work that you did was metallurgical, and I guess along the lines of like how easy it is to get the gold out of the rocks. What was the results of that, Scott?
They were extremely encouraging. So we did a fairly comprehensive initial round of just taking 10 samples from 10 different parts of the system. Each one was at least 20 contiguous meters of drill core. So big samples and really a holistic look at this system. And we did just off-the-shelf methods. So using, I won't get into the details, but CIL, flotation, and bottle roll cyanidation. And the average recoveries for those three methods range between 94 and 96% recovery. So the gold readily comes out of these, and it really opens up keeps open a range of possibilities for future processing potential.
You did mention accessibility. It is a fairly remote location. Can you talk about potential hurdles or what type of project economics you have to see in terms of this becoming a mine?
Sure. So it's remote but not inaccessible. We're about 75 kilometers in a straight line to the North Canal Road, which is government-maintained road. And we're about 30 kilometers from the Plata Winter Trail, which is a heavy equipment route used in the 1980s for a high-grade silver occurrence not too far from Valley. So ultimately, and from that road, actually, there's a straight shot to get to Valley, just down the Valley and turn left. And, there you are at the existing trail network. So it's a good spot to be in ultimately, and there's certainly a lot more remote projects out there that are going ahead through development that are successful operating mines and so on. In terms of the economics, we've yet to do an economic study, but we're very happy with what we see in terms of that continuity of high-grade mineralization near surface, and that's the kind of thing that we were looking for that can really drive the quick recovery of CapEx costs that would be associated with the build out there.
You're next to Fireweed Zinc, which is Brandon McDonald. He is also somebody, I believe, that was born and raised in the Yukon, like yourself. He's also a fellow nominee.
Yeah, it's a good year for the Yukon.
But, is there any benefits or synergies down there? I mean, Fireweed he's got the support of Tech, and then they've also got the significant support of the Lundin Group as well.
Yeah, I think there's potential for huge synergies. It's a camp that's taking shape out there, and I think that our project as a standalone still works as we see it. But certainly, if they were to go ahead as a base metal project at the northern end of the North Canal Road, the cooperation in terms of infrastructure upgrades, road upgrades, power line, etc., would be extremely beneficial to both parties.
When you visit your website, when you get into your presentation materials, you lead with environmental stewardship. You talk about the recognition that you got regarding the Leckie Award. Why does this matter? Because this is ultimately about investor returns, but what is the market for actually having this leading with environmental stewardship and just being engaged in the community that's around you?
Well, I think, business is a powerful force for positive change, and ultimately having that values-based approach has really put us in a special spot in terms of our ability to move forward and to build the relationships that we need to move this project ahead. So it's a fundamental part of who we are as a company. It's been very helpful also in attracting staff internally to the company. You get some very talented people who are aligned in our vision in terms of what can exploration, what can ultimately mining look like when you are really taking care to do it with as little impact as possible and looking ahead towards reclamation from the very start. There has been pushback on ESG, and I think that there's a bit of from a fundamental standpoint, not necessarily that you shouldn't try to do things the right way, but just ESG-driven investing at the expense of fundamentals. Obviously, that's not going to work out well if you're just totally ignoring the business case for a company. But that doesn't mean that you have to split them separately or completely. And I would say that if you're not, if ESG is something that you abandon because a headwind comes up, then and you just had it as a slide in your deck, then you're not really doing ESG in the first place.
Who's the community around you?
We have a community 200 kilometers to the west, the community of Mayo. That's the seat of the Nacho-Nyak-Dun First Nation, and that's the traditional territory that we're primarily exploring in. And also to the south is the Ross River Dena Council. They're about 200 to 220 kilometers away at the south end of the North Canal Road, which we would potentially use for access to the site.
One of the other significant milestones was the B2 Gold investment that you received, that with Clive Johnson. Could you talk a bit about that deal?
Yeah, I mean, we're really happy to see B2 in. I think anyone who looks at them and their track record can see that they take on some very high quality assets, and that that they do really good work in selecting their targets. So we're really happy to have that stamp of approval. In terms of building their position, they did that primarily on the market, but we were able to do an equity raise with them as well to get them to a nice round number, and they were generous enough to basically take the hypothetical premium from the whole block and apply it to the equity raise that we did. And so that was kind of a heavily leveraged premium, and we used that as the back end of a charity flow-through deal, which ended up allowing us to raise at 100% premium to our market cap at the time. So that was a very nice win-win scenario for both of us.
So what's your current financing situation? Are you fine right now for heading into 2024?
We're doing well. We have about $35 million in the treasury. We have another $15 million in warrants that are in the money and expiring this year. And those are in strong hands. So we're very much expecting those to come in, and then without selling on the market to raise that capital. So that puts us in a very strong position with the treasury. About 20 million of that is flow through, and the rest is hard dollars. And so we're well funded going into this year and potentially even into 2025.
So lastly, Scott, what is going to be the accomplishments for 2024?
So we have a lot to look forward to this year. We're going to be aggressively pushing towards a resource at Valley with a lot more drilling, building things out, but also delineating in that higher grade near surface zone, just really de-risking that part of the system. And we'll be doing some legwork on the economics of things as well, so that because that's really where that's a big part of what I think will make Valley shine. And at the end of the day, as you were alluding to in the ESG question, that's why we're here, is to find profitable mines, and that geometry of Valley is something very unique and very special that I'm not sure that the market has fully digested yet. And so we'll be working on that front as well. And then as we step out, we've had some really exciting targets come to light. We had the release out just recently on our Aurelius target, which is a Valley lookalike geochemically. It's a little bit different in that the intrusion is buried, but we have outcrops of the intrusive material nearby, and also the country rock around it appears to be mineralized. From our chip sampling on surface, we're getting some good grades there, and so we're going to be doing a fairly focused regional program on multiple targets, and we may put another discovery onto the table here in 2024.
One more thing, Scott. Due to the tremendous discoveries that's been made by your company, really the excitement that you've brought to the Yukon and the industry as a whole, because we needed the excitement and you've actually provided. We also appreciate the environmental efforts that you've made. And then above all, and you mentioned it before, it's just the tremendous investor returns that you've got at the company. You're not just a nominee, but you're the winner of this year's Mining CEO of the Year. So I just want to wish you congratulations, and very well done and very well deserved.
Okay, well, thank you, Michael. That's incredible. I really appreciate that. And it's really, I feel like I'm eating my team's lunch here. They are, it's a good team and really good geology that have made this happen. And so thank you to everyone on the Snowline team, and the management and the board, and right down to everyone in the field. We have a lot of people working very hard to make this happen. So I'll accept this very gratefully on behalf of all of them.
We've been looking forward to kind of giving this to you. It's been a tremendous story to tell. And then again, it's really provided a lot of impetus to the Yukon. It's where it provided a lot of attention to some areas of need. And again, also, this is about having the big discoveries, and this is having about the big returns. And you've actually provided that to the organization. You provided the sector as a whole. So once again, thank you very much and well deserved. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
All the best.
Kitco Mining special coverage of BMO's 33rd Global Metals Mining and Critical Minerals Conference is brought to you by First Majestic Silver.